touch your phone, every morning, I need you to meditate. And before you click off this video, listen, hear me out. Hey there, it's your favorite nurse yogi, Leslie, and I am going to discuss with you how you can meditate with ease. I got you. In case this is your first time clicking on my pretty face, thank you. Make sure you subscribe down below, and let's get into why it is so important to meditate, to just be before you pick up your phone. And this, y'all, today I was practicing this. So everything I say to you, I am doing. I am in no way a grifter. I recently learned what that word meant. And I was like, people just online, like faking it, like just saying stuff, but they're not actually living by it. And I know that sounds silly. You're probably like, yeah, girl. Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't live like that. So I just find it really strange. And I also feel like it's part of the reason why some people may, like, you hear a lot of people like, I'm burnt out, because you're living a life that you're grifting, So anyways, we need to meditate, and meditation does not have to be complicated. As a certified yoga instructor with 5 years of teaching experience, and I have been practicing yoga since 2009. I don't know when you're watching this video, but today is actually Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of my mommies. We the real ones, right? And so it's May 10th, 2026. And I remember my first yoga class. I did not know that here I am 17 years later, still having a yoga practice that fits my life, right? And I used to be feel weird telling people that I practice yoga. I actually made a whole video on, is yoga demonic? Because that's a question that once I became certified, even before, people were like, girl, that stuff, people that look like we shouldn't be doing that, blase. But if you knew, anyways, I made a whole video. I'm going to try my best to leave that down below so you can educate yourself and you take what you want from anything that anybody is saying, right? I used to be somebody that was very dogmatic, meaning, actually, you know what, y'all, let's check the board. Shout out to LaShonda. Is that her? What's her name? The lady, the Let's Check the Board lady, because I want to make sure I'm saying that word correctly. So let's see what dogmatic means. And we're going to get into how to meditate and all of that. Dogmatic describes a person or viewpoint that asserts opinions, beliefs, or principles as undeniably true, often in an arrogant, stubborn, or authoritative manner. That's what the AI says. Let's see what Merriam-Webster says. Dogmatic is an adjective characterized by or given to the expression of opinions very strongly or positively as if they were facts. So when I think of dogmatic, though, I think about it in the way as how I was raised with certain things. It was you have to do it this way. There is no gray. It's black or black and white, right? There's no nuance to things. And so once I, became a mom and learned to step into my own and learn how to have my own thoughts outside of how my parents raised me, I realized that dogmatic, that's the word I'm going to use. I guess regimented way of life is not for me. It's just not for me. And that doesn't mean, so with that, I had a really hard time really leaning into who I enjoyed being and leaning into truly loving yoga. Yoga saved my life. It saved my life. I would not be where I am today if it was not for my yoga practice, and obviously also God too. But the way that movement, the way that meditation, prayer, all of those things, one could say, oh, so you're spiritual girly. Sure, right? But I know that I'm Leslie. That's what, I'm Leslie, right? And let's get back to, though, practicing meditation. So meditation, when you think of meditation, like as I'm talking to you, I would love for you could share in the comments below, or you can just journal about this. What comes to mind when somebody tells you that you need to meditate? And by somebody, typically it's your therapist, because if you're watching this video, you most likely are on your personal development journey, or you're wanting to come into your own personal development journey, meaning that when people say like, you got to do the work, doing the work typically looks like having a therapist, having a life coach, right? Maybe even having a psychologist or a psychiatrist. These are all people that can help you look within, look introspectively. And as somebody who had a therapist and a life coach at the same time, and just to be clear, a therapist is somebody who helps you look at your past. So the trauma that you may have had as a child, right? Typically therapists, and you can look at the modalities that they do their therapy from. The therapist I had practice taught within the modality of cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, so really just tapping into your cognition, your brain, right? And seeing like why with however you think, why do you behave in that way? Okay, whereas the life coach, she helped me see, like we seeing in the future. A life coach, you can get certified as a life coach. I actually was certified as a life coach after I had my own life coach a couple years after. I didn't renew that certification, but there is life coaches that you want to see the people under, like the ICF, the International. I will tell you right now, because there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to life coaches, and I am here to debunk that for you. ICF is the International Coach Federation. So ICF is the International Coach Federation. You want to make sure that so when I hired my life coach, I didn't know, I didn't look into that, if I'm going to be really honest with you. I just liked how the person was showing up online. And what sold me with my life coach was she was like, I'm going to help you get your confidence back. And I had a really low self-esteem prior to having kids. And once I had kids, it was like, what self-esteem? Like I had nothing, right? So going back to meditation, my therapist, as along with my life coach, would tell me repeatedly, you need to meditate, you need to do these things. And on top of that, my life coach was also a certified yoga teacher. So the way she taught was from the yoga lens, which I really appreciated. So with that being said, when these people tell you to meditate, I'll speak for me. I'll speak from what I've heard, especially being in now the yoga teaching space. And when I tell people that I'm a certified yoga teacher, they immediately are like, I can't meditate. I don't know how to do that. And it's like, bruh, chill first. You need to meditate, because you instantly are like putting that, like saying all of that. And I'm here to tell you that meditation, you like today, I will tell you how I did it today. So today was Mother's Day. I woke up. Nobody's bothering me, and I get out of the bed, and as soon as my feet, like this is how I just describe things, but I get out of bed and I literally just put both my feet on the floor, the soles of my feet on my floor, and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, and I didn't even open the blinds. Sometimes I open the blinds so I can just look outside, because I have this big tree outside of my window, and I'll just like look at the leaves. But today I just looked at the closed blinds, and I just sat there, and I allowed myself to just think, but not even think, because sometimes when you force yourself to think, that is brain power that you don't need to be doing as soon as you wake up. So I literally just sit there and allow myself to turn on, so to speak. And my phone is nowhere to be seen. My phone, I always do my best to turn my phone off. If not by 10 p.m., I turn my phone off before I go to sleep, and I put it in another room. So it's not in my bedroom. So I don't like putting my phone at my nightstand. And if you're like, girl, how you wake up, right? I'll have like my iPad, like this is so weird, but I'm just telling you how I do things. I have my iPad like below my bed, like I have to reach down for it. I'll have it there, but a lot of the times my husband, he has his phone on his side of the bed because, like, God forbid, and this is something people I understand, you know, God forbid something, you are the like the primary, the glue of your family, so to speak, or you have kids that are in college, or you have aging parents, and God forbid something happened in the middle of the night. I get it. So a tip, if you don't know this already, put your phone on do not disturb, and only those people, and honestly, y'all, I only want you to have like 2 people that can come through the line. 2 at most. If you have a list of like 10 people on that do not disturb list, because I'm pretty sure you don't got boundaries with all the 10 of those people, and they run you ragged. Let's just call a thing. Okay? So 2 people max on that do not disturb list, that if they do come through, they cut through the do not disturb, right? So that's a tip. Another tip, I used to be real analog girly. And what that means is this. I used to, like, in the thick of the pandemic, I was in a cocoon. Like, yes, we were all literally in the house. But when I tell you, that's when I was doing a lot of introspective work. And again, my phone was not in my room. I bought an analog clock. So buy an alarm clock. I know there's all these fancy, like the Hatch clock that like it rises with the sun. And there's all these cool things, but you know, in this economy, I know how it goes. You just buy yourself a cheap $10 clock because they're not trending. Well, the analog girlies are kind of trending now. Everybody wants to be offline, but digital analog clocks are not expensive. So I had one of those, and that's how I would wake myself up and go to bed before I would like have my iPad. So now I'm being bad, so to speak. So back to this morning, I just sit there, make sure both of my feet are on the ground. This helps me with grounding. So grounding does not have to be something that's overly complicated. Grounding is simply connecting with your mind, body, and soul. And in order to do that, you first need to connect with your physical body. A lot of us right now are feeling so disconnected. And I want to shout out a therapist who also creates content, because there's a difference between people that are just like, no shade to people that are content creators, influencers, but like a lot of the, like, there has to be this, I need to finish listening to something else, but there is we're in a weird space right now, right? Where it's like there are content creators who they probably don't have any kind of degree or any kind of certification in any modality of life. They create content and they make lots of money off of it. And I love that for them. But then there are also people like me that are registered nurses who also create content, right? So with that, that's why I separate the two, because I try my best to follow people that are like healthcare professionals who also create content for inspiration, and just also I just love that. Like, it just because they help demystify a lot of things that these people might be doing. So this one therapist, Simone is her name, and I remember her name because her first name is my middle name. And she recently wrote a book, and it's all about the mind-body connection. And she did a really great job of creating this reel where she was like, it was like the text overlay, the words on the screen said, "I feel so disconnected." And it was just a montage of her constantly looking at her phone, to the point, like, you know how you get ready in the morning? She'd wake up, she'd go to sleep to her phone, and then she didn't even turn her phone off. She just kept her phone on at her nightstand, wakes up, immediately reaches for her phone. It's a reflex now, and this is no shade at all, but you're watching this video and you're almost 15 minutes in because you want to start connecting with yourself on a deeper level, and it doesn't have to be complicated, right? But if the first thing you reach for in the morning is that phone, we have a problem, right? And that's where the disconnection comes from. So she reaches for the phone, looks at it, and then she walks to the bathroom, brushes her teeth with her phone, scroll, scroll, scroll. Then she goes in the shower and puts it like on a thing, because you can buy those things, right? To connect the phone in your shower, scrolling as she's soaping up her body. Then she dry herself out, gets out, makes herself breakfast. As she's cooking her breakfast, she's scrolling. And it's like, of course you feel disconnected because you're constantly multitasking. And as humans, we're not supposed to multitask. If somebody tells you that they're really good at multitasking, that's not good for them. If anything, you need to be like, stop doing that. Like, stop multitasking. And I say that to my friends a lot. I'm like, y'all, stop multitasking. I'm guilty of it too. So everything I'm saying it's me, you know? And so this morning I was like, okay, just look at my blinds, right? Look at the blinds, allow my brain to turn back on and just start. I don't even like do any type of journal. I just look at the blinds. I sat there until I started like, I don't want to say ruminating, but I'm like, okay, I sat there for maybe a minute. Then I got up, used the bathroom, that kind of stuff. And the first 2 hours of today, I did not turn my phone off. So my phone was off since I went to sleep at 1:00 this morning, if I'm gonna call a thing, but because I didn't know where to go today. So I was like, I'm gonna stay up, right? So I didn't go to sleep till 1 a.m. So at 1 a.m. I turned my phone off. So my phone was off for like until almost noon, right? Turned my phone on. My phone is on now. I turned it on before I recorded this video to let it like load up. I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's right. So I meditated for a little bit, and in that meditation you don't hear me like I didn't turn anything on, because I know some people, I know actually a lot of people, the reason they don't like to meditate is because they don't want to hear their own thoughts. Like, you're scared of your own thoughts. And I remember, I'll never forget this, my therapist told me this. I'm gonna say it, I'm probably gonna say it twice. She was like, you are not your thoughts. I'm going to say that again. My therapist said this to me. You are not your thoughts. And what that means, you'll be like, what the fuck? What are you saying, Leslie? So what that means, especially in like how we live now, where we're just consume. And that's why I do my best, because I am online every single day. I ain't gonna be one of those people like, I'm not online, but then I see you online. Like, come on, y'all. We all on the internet. And so if I'm going to be consuming, I'm also going to fight the grain, if you will. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but if I'm taking in so much, I'm going to output so much. I.e. this 96th day out of 100 days of YouTube. Because the way I be on YouTube, y'all, this platform, I love it here. I really, really do. And so that's how I fight the system, if you will. But going back to like, you are not your thoughts. And I remember she said that, and I was like, come again? And it took me a while. Even with that session, I still was like not following. And it took me a while. And how I interpreted what she was saying is, we consume so much. We take in so much information. And that's why it goes back to the title of this video. Like, before you pick up your phone, you need to meditate, is because you need to set your tone of the day. You need to set your energy for the day. You cannot open up the phone and take in that energy of seeing war, of seeing pew, 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 of seeing, God forbid, somebody you know is no longer here. That is very heavy stuff to take in as soon as you open your eyes. That is very heavy. And so you have to be very cognizant and very mindful of how of the things you are consuming and when you are consuming. I'm not saying you live in this toxic positivity world of like, Delulu forever, because I am Queen Delulu. Excuse me. No, like, obviously I'm going to be aware of what is going on in the world, but I'm going to be mindful of how much of it I'm consuming every single day, because every single day something terrible, like seems to be happening, right? And it's because we now have access to everything, right? It's a double-edged sword, okay? And so you have to know how to utilize that double-edged sword for your benefit, okay? And in order to feel in control. So going back to you are not your own thoughts is because you pick up that phone and you immediately are like, you see something that's like, this is why you shouldn't be online. The first thing you see, this is how I lost 10 pounds in 5 minutes. This is how I made $5 million in 5 minutes. And you're just like, it's like, it's whiplash, because then you're like, oh my gosh, like I should lose weight. Oh my gosh, why am I not that far in my business? Oh my gosh, I am a terrible mom because I'm on my phone, but I'm addicted to my phone and I don't know how to get off of it, right? And so this morning, after I did my quick meditation, which was literally just me looking at the blinds. Again, meditation is not complicated and it does not have to be complicated. And I have a resource for you down below to help you, my own meditations and all of that. I then, okay, there seems to be a lot going on downstairs, but, sorry guys, I don't know what's happening downstairs. Okay, so with that being said, I then went downstairs, hung out with my kids, and the whole time I had to tell myself, because my phone was upstairs and I'm like wanting to check my phone, and I was like, Lesline, you need to be present. Like I had to tell myself that mentally, be present. Be present. Like this, my daughter is not going to want to, well, I don't want to put that out, but I hear from all my mom friends that have older kids, how like once you become a teenager, like they don't even want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And so this morning, I really had to like take hold of my brain, if you will. And the only way I was able to do that is because I hadn't touched my phone yet, right? I hadn't touched my phone yet. I did my meditation. And as my daughter, she was like, oh, mommy, she's really into art. She loves to color and all of that. And she was like, mommy, you want to draw this? And at first I said no, if I'm going to call a thing a thing. And then I was like, no, like, I want to connect. This is how she feels loved, is doing arts and crafts, right? I don't like doing arts and crafts. It's not my zone. Like, I don't like it. This is how I create. Like, this is my creative outlet. Her creative outlet is drawing. And so then I was like, that was fucked up. Let me rewind. And I was like, hey, let's do this after breakfast. So we did. And she was so happy about it. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm not like, it's not fun for me if I'm going to call a thing. But then I'm like, be present, Lesline. And I'm just taking in like her facial expressions and how she's smiling. And she's so encouraging because I'm drawing the Bluey's cousin. And she's like, wow, mommy, that is so good. Like she's so... And I'm like, dang, you're very like, she just knows how to like encourage and empower and uplift. And I'm like, I love it. I love it so much. And so I'm going to close the video and figure out what's going on downstairs. My husband's down there, so it's not like the kids are by themselves. But I just want to close out the video with, before you touch your phone, meditate. And meditation does not have to be complicated. So I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye for now.